Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. September is Falls Prevention Month. Now, in our continuing series on preventing injuries from falling, today we're focusing on how first responders play a part in this effort. Tracy Koslowski from the Drexel Heights Fire District is here to educate us. Tracy, so good to see you again.
It's good to be here.
So let's start with some statistics, because like we were saying, it's becoming common, or I guess as people age, it becomes more common. But what are some other statistics you can share with us about falls nationally first?
Yeah, well, according to the Centers for Disease Center, they say 1 in 4 people age 65 and older will fall each year.
Shocking.
It is, it is. And then every 11 seconds, there is a fall injury seen in the emergency room. And this is really sad. Every 19 minutes, someone dies from a fall injury in our country. So it's really impacting us nationwide.
Hard to believe, isn't it, that a simple fall can sometimes turn into something so complicated or even deadly, like you were saying. So that's more of a national statistic. Zooming in a little closer to home, what's it look like here in Arizona and Tucson?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're seeing the trend too. So the health department is telling us that 2 in 5 patients seen in the trauma center are fall-related injuries, which you think trauma center, I'm not thinking about falls, I'm thinking about car wrecks and stuff like that, but that is what we're seeing here locally, so that's pretty incredible. And you know, a high percentage of them are just falls from standing. We think about falls from like scaffolding or like 5-story buildings, but no, we're talking about falls from standing. So there's a high percentage, like 66% of them are falls from standing.
Well, and so many of those falls can be prevented, right? And we'll be talking about some ways that people can prevent those types of falls. But what are some other risk factors, do you think? I mean, obviously aging is something that has a lot to do with it, but there are other things like having fallen before that really contribute, right?
Sure, that when we see the repeat falls, it's a lot of times the first time somebody falls, there's that concern, there's that fear that this is going to happen again. So they're more cautious. They maybe stay at home more instead of going out to activities. Really, you want to do the opposite. You want to get more active. And so that fear can really hold people back and relate to another fall.
Right, it becomes a vicious cycle, right? Because you're fearing it happening again. You might change the way you walk, you know, like I was saying earlier, and all of a sudden that affects your balance and it just turns into this vicious thing. So how are first responders impacted by these types of falls? Yeah,
well, we're seeing a lot of these type of incidents now, and I think most people know that in the fire service we deal a lot with emergency medical calls, more so than fires, which is still true. But man, the fall numbers, 77% of these fall victims we're transporting to the hospital. So we're seeing it all the time.
Well, and there's this big group of people, the Fall Coalition, that got together. You're included, PCOA, etc. Tell us a little bit more about what the group is doing to try to prevent these.
Yeah, well, we're just collaborating because a lot of us were trying to address the issue. You know, I'm trying to do it in my community, somebody else is trying to do it, but we just decided to come together. You've got a lot of the hospitals involved and the healthcare providers, you've got the fire departments involved, and just anybody that's involved with injury prevention. We're all coming together. How can we pool our resources, and how can we have some consistent messaging together? It's really made an impact.
It's that consistent messaging, raising awareness, really getting the word out there that this is a real concern, and it can affect pretty much anybody, but you know, those who are getting up there in age especially have to worry more. Now, what types of programs are first responders involved in that sort of help with this, aside from the coalition?
Yeah, a lot of us have education programs like the Remembering When program from the NFPA, and there's also the Matter of Balance program, which is a great one to get into. But then just joining things like Tai Chi and stuff like that, we just promote people do, you know, whatever kind of they might be interested in, because if they're interested in it, then they'll get more involved and it'll have a bigger impact.
Well, we've seen the Tai Chi program here on our show, and it's so cool. First of all, it's fun, you get some exercise, but what else does that help with? Balance, right? That's the idea.
That's the big idea, is the balance. You want to increase your balance. We lose it over time, so if you can strengthen that through some of these programs, that's the way to go.
Well, not only that, but there's several other ways that people can prevent these falls, starting with maybe at home, right? What can they do at home to make it a little bit safer?
Yeah, so the coalition's come up with a little checklist. So you can go through your home and you can take a look at things that might cause a hazard, or ways you can prevent. So yeah, I would encourage you, Pima Council on Aging, to check out that checklist and yeah, get to work on that because that'll help.
A lot of good resources on there, a complete list, you know, to make sure that you're safe, make sure that your home is, you know, there's nothing on the ground that's going to make you trip up. And so there's mini expos coming up too that people can attend. Tell us a little bit about what they can expect when they go to those.
Yeah, so September is fall, the week of September 22nd through the 28th is National Fall Prevention Awareness Week. And so we're celebrating all month long with these mini expos. So people can go there and get some great information. You're going to hear a bunch of different speakers. Also, there's going to be some resources there for them. So it's all free too.
Yeah.
That's what I love, is that come and check it out, whether it's for you or for a loved one, and get some great resources.
Exactly. The more educated everybody is, the better off and healthy everyone's going to be to stay on our feet. So Tracy, as always, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right. Now you can find a complete list of the upcoming mini expos by visiting pcoa.org. And if you have questions, call 520-790-7262.